Hey everyone, so welcome to RLS 2.2 Beta Episode 2. So, I've made a mistake. I think, I don't know, might be a bug, might need to speak to Mr. Raceless. But, you know, in 2.2 you're only supposed to have one garage? Well, somehow we now have them all. And some other things are just acting a little bit funny, so unfortunately, I think we're going to have to start again, which is a shame because what a cool first car we got. You know, I know it had issues with towing and, you know, whatever, but yeah, unfortunately, we don't have to restart, but I want the full 2.2 experience. I don't want to cut corners, I don't want to mess around, so let's start fresh. Luckily, it's only one episode, and we can just treat that episode as a showcase of 2.2, right? So we're going to start again. We're going to call it RLS 2.2 Mark 2, right? We're not going to do this tutorial because ain't nobody got time for that. Let's do this. We'll just start it. Okay, so here we are in our Mark 2 save. And we're going to hit the computer. Let's see what we can get for our first car on our second playthrough of the 2.2 beta. So, again, we could look at all of this, you know, but let's face it, we need something cheap. So Trusted Auto Sales gives us a nice discount, the cars are fairly priced. I do think this is the way to start. There's a rear-wheel drive Pessima. That could be... I mean, if we're talking rear-wheel drive, I would rather have the BX, but we've done so much work with the BX now. Oh, a Barstow. Grand Marshal. You know I love the Grand Marshal, and I've never got to use one. Whoa. Wait, that's a diesel with 300 horsepower and all-wheel drive, and it's automatic, so that's actually pretty cool. With the diesel, it'll have a lot of torque, so as long as we can fit strong enough rear suspension, that can do some towing. And it's probably fast enough to do some of the race events. Oh, okay, so I'm feeling a little bit less sad about losing the sport cross, because this is cool. So, a little bit of background to me. I love diesels. I know that they are not everyone's choice, but I like a diesel, and I will explain why in about 40 seconds when this car arrives. Okay, the car is here and we are going to get a look. I love the red. I love the silver wheels. Let's get a look at this. Oh, I can't believe we've managed to get a K-Series as our first car, and it looks great. White interior. Okay, right. So, let me explain a few things about my personal taste, okay? So, I live in the UK, specifically Scotland, where fuel's really expensive, right? I don't know how it all calculates because Americans use, you know, dollars and per gallon, whereas we use pounds per litre or pence per litre. But like where Americans are able to fill up, I know it changes state to state, but generally speaking, Americans can fill like, you know, a 80 litre tank for like $30 or something like that, which is probably about £25. An 80 litre tank in the UK would cost about £120 to fill, which is about $130. So diesels, which are more fuel efficient and can still deliver performance, are my personal favourite way to go. So yes, we have 323 horsepower, 470 pounds-feet of torque. That's a lot. That's so much. So, I don't doubt that this thing, despite being diesel, as a lot of people would call it out for, I think it's probably... doesn't sound bad either. I think it's probably going to be fairly quick. Let's put it into... turn all the traction control on that off. So it's all-wheel drive, but it still spins the rear, so it's definitely rear bias, which you would expect in a car like this. Okay. So, we need to make money, right? How are we going to do that? Well, this thing, I think this is fast enough to compete in a couple of races. What I would like to do is the same thing that I always do, which is do a couple of the events that are just scattered around the map to make some insurance tokens. So let's do that, and I will catch up with you guys in a minute. Okay guys, so what I've managed to do is the same two races we did in episode 1. So that was the Covet race and then the race with the Roamer. So that's gave us enough insurance tokens that we can, you know, compensate for black eyes like this. I mean, look guys, at the end of the day, there was a school bus full of children. There was a lion and a little old lady. I had to swerve to, you know, yeah. No, I just spun out and hit a curb. So, yeah, but at least we can deal with stuff like this. So, we're going to do a couple of races, make us a little bit of money, and then we'll kind of work out what we want to do. I think this car's going to be more performance orientated. So I think I would rather spend my money modifying this to do all of the basic types of racing, including maybe the rally racing, and then we'll maybe talk about what we want to do for our towing rig, because I would love to use this, but I'm worried. I just don't see it being the best tow vehicle. But we'll try it, you know, but in the meantime, let's get a couple of races done. So, let's get this started. I don't think anything here will be too much of a challenge for us. So we'll see how interesting this race gets, but we might just cut this out because you guys have already watched me do a lot of racing, and you know that I am mediocre. I am a mediocre driver, and there's not much fun to be had watching mediocre drivers. So yeah, I might just skip all this unless anything interesting happens. So I'll catch you guys when either we crash and die or we complete this race. Alright guys, catch you in a bit. Wow. This game is not the best graphics, obviously. I mean, when you've got stuff like Cyberpunk and all that going around. But that sunset blooming through the trees... Oh, this track is now dark. But that sunset was beautiful. Wow. That was pretty impressive. I didn't know this game was capable of that. Wow. That was cool. Anyway, this is us, last lap, after that unfortunate mistake. I mean, that's the first mistake I made, and it's because I started talking to you guys. Maybe you guys are the problem. Just saying, okay? But, I want to talk about something that I've found interesting. I want you to look at the dynograph. It's about to disappear. But, we'll have a look at it in just a second. Right, now the dynograph, here, you see this crossover point, right? Now, here's something that a lot of people don't... I don't think it's that they don't know it, it's that they just don't think about it or care, so they don't look into it, right? But horsepower doesn't exist, okay? Horsepower is purely a calculated number. Torque does exist. It's torque that's always registered on a dyno, right? So what happens is, you take the torque, you multiply it by the RPM that the torque is being made at, right? So for example, at 2000 RPM, this is making, what's that, roughly 470 foot-pounds of torque. So you would take 470 times it by 2000, and then you would divide that number by 5252, 5252, right? Do you know what? I don't even know why that is that number. It's something to do with the calculation of what horsepower actually means, which is something to do with a horse pulling a certain weight across a certain distance in a certain amount of time. Anyway, so that's a calculation for horsepower. Horsepower equals torque times RPM divided by 5252. What that means is that on a dynograph, the horsepower and torque number will always cross over. So see this cross right here? That should always take place at 5252, because that's how math works, right? Why is it happening here at 3600 RPM? I don't know. That's weird. If anyone knows the answer to that, I'd be genuinely interested to know. Because I've always known, maybe it's a different calculation for diesel vehicles. I actually don't know. But yeah, I find that weird. I find that weird because I've always known it to be at 5252 RPM. That's where the numbers cross over. So yeah, let me know if you know the answer to that. That's something I'd find quite interesting. Anyway, we're on to race 2. It's now daytime, which is fun. I'm not sure why it's daytime, but it's daytime. And I don't think we're going to struggle, because the last race was fairly easy. I think the factory custom race might be a bit more of a challenge. And this is where the RLS 2.2 update becomes quite interesting, because if I decided to make some tuning changes to this car, previously I would have a choice of garages to go to. And I could make whatever changes I wanted, you know, change tyres, I could change the actual tune of the alignment and the turbo and stuff. But in the 2.2, my only garage is in Chinatown. So I don't want to drive all the way to Chinatown just to tune my car, just to drive all the way back. So that's quite interesting. That adds like a new level of get it right the first time. So yeah, I think I quite like that. But this is our first time experiencing that sort of dilemma, that issue. I mean, we could just be not lazy and drive to Chinatown, but we'll see. Anyway, let's see what we're getting on the straight. Almost 140. Come on, give me 140. 140! We got 140! I think we can make 145. Whoa, almost 150 before having to slam on the brakes. That's fairly impressive for a completely stock diesel. That's awesome. Anyway, right. I'm going to be quiet again, and I'm going to get this race over and done with so we can actually do some interesting stuff, alright? So I will catch you guys again in a few minutes. Okay. After a very, very, very dark couple of laps, we're again approaching the finish line now. I mentioned earlier on that I like white interiors, and that is true, but actually, I just like bright coloured interiors. It doesn't really matter what the colour is, obviously within reason, but I just dislike dark interiors, and it's for two reasons, right? One, well actually no, it's one reason, but it splits into two. One is I'm super claustrophobic, right? Really, really struggle with it, and it's triggered by dark spaces, right? So if I'm in a small space, but it's well lit, then I can handle it. That's not a problem. But if it's dark, no, it feels a million times worse. And so the other problem is I'm actually really, really tall. I am 6'3", right? So when I sit in most cars, my head is extremely close to the roof. What that means is that already in pretty much any car, I feel fairly claustrophobic, because my upper peripheral vision is seeing the roof. Again, if I have a sunroof or if it's a light coloured headliner, that's not the end of the world. I can survive that. That's fine. But if you have an interior that has everything black with like tinted windows and everything, that's a very dark confined space. Even if you're in like a Range Rover, something huge, that's still a confined space. I'm still going to be uncomfortable. If you have, like, for example, my car, a little bit of personal information here, I drive a Jaguar XJ Super Sport. It's a lovely car, I'm very lucky to have it. And the interior has a black dashboard and a black roof liner, but it has it has two massive sunroofs that both open, and it has white leather interior. So that car, when light shines into it, bounces off the seats, and it kind of keeps the cabin ever so slightly lighter and brighter than if it had black seats. I also just aesthetically think it looks nicer. So that's definitely a thing. But yeah, in terms of my claustrophobia, I prefer it to be a bit lighter. So we are approaching the Chinatown garage, which I've finally learned how to get to and from it. Because this is not an area of the map that I spend a lot of time in. We're going to park like a true BMW owner. And I think that for fairly little money, we could make this a competitive rally car. So I think that's exactly what we'll do. So let's have a quick look. All we really need to do is fit wide body suspension. I think so. Because we will probably turn this into a wide body car. We'll see. But I think that's definitely a possibility. So as an open front diff, we could put in. I mean, we may as well just get the race limited slip. Final drive 2.81. Okay, we'll leave that because I don't think the gear ratios are too much of an issue. I would like drift steering because it does like to oversteer and it doesn't have the steering angle to compensate very well, so we'll do that. Rear suspension. Oh wait, front suspension. Did we actually do any of the? No, we didn't. Right. So, rally. 3,500. Oh, that's so much more than I expected. That's a bit of an issue. Maybe we'll have to just suffer with an open diff. Okay, yeah, that's quite a bit more than I expected to spend there. What else are we spending money on? The wide front suspension, we might have to just ignore that for now. That's unfortunate, but the struts we can make rally for 3,500. That's just so much money, but it's probably needed so that we can survive the jumps. We're going to need to buy new alloys for it. So I've been competing in a lot of the RLS live events. By the way, guys, join the Discord server. It's in my link below. Follow the shoutouts in my description. I've got Raceless himself. I've got ShiftTab, who I've become good friends with. I've got AngySumo, who I've become good friends with. And Raceless himself all tagged in there. So we've been doing a lot of competing, and recently I've been tuning my cars for the Rally RP event, and I didn't know this, but is it 18x8? There is something called the Tarmac Rally Tire, and it looks and acts like a slick, but that's okay, guys. So I found the tires. They are Tarmac Rally tires. We have also fitted a stage 1 ECU, so we'll have a look at how much horsepower that brings, and we'll see what we can do with it. Now, I want to remove the front license plate, and is it just called license plate or is it called rear license plate? It looks like it's probably rear license plate. There we go. So we've done that. We'll have a little bit more power. We now have rally suspension as well. Oh, the sell all button. Wonderful. So good. Right, so we need to do a little bit of tuning, but I think effectively it'll just be... We'll leave the suspension standard, right? As in the shocks and springs, because who knows how well it's going to handle things, but we'll need to test it out to check first. I'll add some camber into it. I'm happy with the rear. I want a bit more in the front. 2.5, maybe a little bit much, but I'm sure we'll be fine. We'll add some caster in. We will do some negative toe is what we want in the front, positive in the rear. I can't actually tell if that's right. Hold on, I always forget which way is which. So the rear toe is positive. That's what we want. We'll leave it just ever so slightly positive, about half a degree, and then the front almost a degree out. That's pretty perfect. We will lower the tire PSIs, then make them match, and we shall widen this bad boy out a little bit. Really hard to see the stance, but hopefully it looks okay. The front, yeah, I think we're okay. This is the problem with it being so dark, but this will have to do us for now. We are now at almost 400 horsepower and 576 pounds-feet. That's impressive, right? So this thing's now a bit of a beast. So these Tarmac Rally tires, they look like slicks. I know you can't see that just now, but they look like slicks. But they drive with almost slick-like levels of grip on asphalt. But then it also has like rally tire grip off-road. These tires are a bit of a cheat code if we're being honest with ourselves, but they're good fun. So let's get the rally races over and done with to make some more money. I will catch you guys there. Okay guys, so I've actually ended up at the drag strip. It's early in the morning, everything looks pretty, but I think we should see how fast this thing runs a quarter mile. So let's get it lined up. We'll launch in second. And let's go. We'll keep it in the peak torque area, or the peak horsepower area of the rev range. 110 across the line roughly. 12.1, that's okay. That's not bad at all actually. We did get an error message there. I think it said turbo overheating. We haven't touched the turbo. All we've done is a remap, so that might have put the PSI up a little bit, but to be honest, we shouldn't be full throttle for that long in any of these races, so it doesn't really worry me too much. The engine itself isn't actually overheating, so that's good. And as you can see, this thing actually now grips pretty well. Still get it over, get it sideways, but that's fine. Right, let's see. Let's see how this handles the races. Whoa! Okay, let's restart that. Oh no, now we've got a borked intercooler or something. Oh, I hate when it does this stupid bug. Radiator's leaking. Excellent. Hopefully we can still complete the three laps, but we'll see. Why is it killing power? It's acting like it's out of fuel. Don't mind me guys, just committing insurance fraud. We will pay the $1,000 to fix the car. And we'll compete in race 2. So race 1 was a bit of a mess. We did that weird crash thing. Race 2, let's see if we can get a cleaner race done. Okay, blasting past, just as we thought. Let's get rotated around this corner. Bit too much rotation. Okay, I like it. Okay, yeah. Okay, this thing rotates pretty good. Short wheelbase, all-wheel drive, rear bias, the right tyres, drift steering. Yeah, this thing's surprisingly a bit of a monster. It also has almost 600 foot-pounds of torque. Induction system damaged. That's an issue for a diesel. The induction system is what makes diesels so powerful. Although I'm not feeling much of a difference. Oh, okay. Struggled to catch that there. Okay, yeah. We've done something. We've definitely done something. This isn't going as nice as it was before. I think it's safe to say that our K series can't handle the jumps, and yet we need to fire it over again. Okay, so something's not quite right with it. I don't know how to describe it. I think, yeah, there's just something weird going on, but okay, we're going okay now. So let's see about let's see about just getting it across the line, yeah? Okay. That was silly, I re-rendered myself. Okay, get rotated, come on! Thank you. Right, let's get it across the line for race 2. We'll retry to repair the car. Hopefully it did actually repair the car, because there's been issues with that. But I think that's just beamng being beamng. Okay, so rally race 3. I think we can get this done, end the episode here, and then talk about what we want to do next, because I'm still not sure. We do still have the Pro Rally Cross that we can do, but this thing needs a little bit more work, so maybe, just maybe, we'll have to commit a little bit more money into this thing. Okay, yeah, I'm going to avoid the jump. Oh, we've destroyed the front suspension anyway. Excellent. Yeah, I was going to say the jump's what screwed us over last race, so I was trying to avoid it, but we've hit the wall, and you can see I just have no steering angle from that front left wheel. So it turns left real good. Turning right, not so good. And now we've ruined it even further. I don't think that front wheel is now connected to anything. And now we've been T-boned. Yeah, that front wheel isn't connected to anything. Restart. Let's do it legit. Let's take the jump, see what the damage goes. Oh, kinda locked me off a little bit there. Okay, right. We have rolled. What is the accumulation of the damage? Apparently none. We actually drive perfectly fine. So, that's fun. Apparently the K-Series can handle a rollover. No problem at all. No problemo. Well, these guys seem to be crashing. I also seem to be crashing, but in a different way. Let's get Whoa. Stop! This guy is just blocking me into corners. You can go that way. I will go this way. Ha ha! Mark 1 piss in my douche. Okay, let's go. Okay guys, last corner, not very clean, but let's get across the finish line. So here's what I'm thinking, right? We have 400 horsepower, and unfortunately this diesel engine doesn't have a whole lot more tuning that's capable to get us any more horsepower. We could add nitrous, but then we're just going to blow it up. We're already having turbo issues. So here's what I'm thinking. The other way to go faster is to lose weight. And this car does have a lot of weight reduction parts available to it. We have 21,000. We can also do the... oh, I hate when this happens. Save. Another thing that we can do is the RLS 100. 10 laps. This is basically the Cletus McFarland, can't remember what he calls it, Freedom 500 or something like that, I can't remember. But yeah, oh, excuse me, massive yawn, very unprofessional, but whoever said I was good at this. So, this one, we've got 10 laps round an oval, and Grand Marshals with like the smallest shot of nitrous ever. I'm currently nitrusing and I'm barely pulling on anyone, so let's get this done for a little bit more cash. Okay, first place. Oh, not clean, not clean. Partially my fault, but also just blame it on the AI. Just yeah, it's the AI, innit? You know. That's lap 3. We've got a long way to go. It should be plain sailing for now. I am going to shut up and concentrate, and I will let you guys know if we have any crashes or anything interesting. Okay, catch me when we're done. Whoa, that was close. That was officially threading the needle. Wow, okay. Lap 8, almost there. This guy's not looking too good. Things are getting interesting. There's another guy up here damaged. Another guy who's apparently seems to still be in the race. We want to get past this guy ASAP. There we go. Okay, we are still in first. We're on lap 9. As long as we don't wreck, we'll be fine. We want to stick to the inside. Oh no, okay. Usually these guys go really, really wide on exit, but this guy, for whatever reason, stayed quite shallow. Okay, last corner. Let's keep it in check. Come on. Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Ooh. Ooh. And across the line. Okay, guys. I think what we're going to do is we're going to end the episode here. Let's check our money, let's check our stats. But I think we'll end the episode here. Next episode, we'll start off by making this thing a bit lighter. 1600 kilos is... that's a lot for a two-door coupe. So, make it lighter. We'll raise the suspension a little bit. Since we're on the rally coilovers, we can do that. We can raise it, potentially stiffen it a little so it stops bottoming out. The weight reduction will help with that. Yeah. And then we will compete in the pro rallycross events. Yeah, anyway. Okay, guys. Let's check the stats before I call it quits. $24,000. That's plenty for what we want. Take it easy. Catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.